It's a cultural festival that happens in Nottingham each year. It's our attempt amongst cultural organisations, refugee support organisations and networks to create an alternative to the hostile environment which has been produced in the UK. This is the environment which is actively promoted by the government, by political forces, by capitalist forces, which aim to discourage refugees from coming here and claiming asylum, which is the basis of their human rights. So if this is the environment in which we live, then we are seeking to create alternative forms of community, different spaces in which there's a different kind of environment. So you're all part of that alternative tonight. And throughout the week, we're running all sorts of things from talks, performance events, film screenings, shared meals, yoga sessions, which are a space to meet other people, to exchange ideas and to be part of a community.
I think this week is a real celebration of everything that unites us, everything that we bring from our own different cultures and traditions and share together. I think it's also about resistance, resisting the government's hostile environment, resisting things like the Rwanda policy and coming together in the face of that to show that we have solidarity with each other and we're not going to be divided. One of the things that got me involved in politics was the hostile environment and various assaults on migrants' rights. And I firmly believe that that needs to be dismantled by the next Labour government, every single part of it, for detention centres to be closed down, for no recourse to public funds to be scrapped, because I've seen, before I was elected, but also since becoming an MP, the misery that inflicts on people's lives. And we've seen recently with this Rwanda policy, the government deporting refugees almost 5,000 miles away to a country that they don't know, where they have no supports, just for arriving here illegally, which can all be solved if the government just opened safe and legal routes here.
For me, practice of yoga and teaching yoga is about how you bring it into the community. Many things are out of reach for people who are displaced and might not have a connection with the community. So it's our job as also members of the community to go out and see where people need support. And so this is where the links with Nottingham Refugee really help. So we know this is what's happening, this is where the community is, and hopefully helping people directly rather than just raising donations. So that's important, yeah.
There was all sorts of restrictions because of the pandemic, and we couldn't gather and get together the way we are this evening. So this is one of our first get-togethers, and it's really significant that we're doing that at Refugee Week as well, because we love to cook, we love food, and we love getting together as a group and showing hospitality and welcome to those who need it most. And this evening we've been doing that, learning how to make pasta from scratch, and it's wonderful, and you can hear all the buzz behind me, and I'm sure you'll be jealous when you see the food as it rolls on your screen.
If they were white, there'd be no need for speeches and sucking leeches, no deaths on the beaches, no idiot preachers spitting out words that aren't true, like they come from a zoo, like they'd escaped and they were dangerous. There'd be such a change in us. We'd see it with clarity, if only we lived in a world of race parity. If they were white, there'd be no need for rescue. They'd just get on a plane and speak their name. We'd treat them the same, as if they were from Ukraine. We wouldn't allow them just to drown in the sea. If they looked like me, we'd open the gates to the walls that we built. We'd see it as sin to do anything other than let them in. If they were white, there'd be no deals with Rwanda. Priti Patel would see it just like Uganda. With Idi Amin, we'd just let him in. There'd be no deportations to faraway nations. There'd be no wave machines. But it's become so routine to treat frightened people so incredibly mean. Every time without fail, that Prime Minister fails. You see it splashed on the front of the Mail. Look, a refugee boat has set sail. If they were white, they'd still be alive. Samuel would still be alive. If they were white, can you imagine that all of a sudden the papers went silent and nothing was said? Do you think they'd never mention the dead? Can you imagine if those faces were pale? What would they say in that rag, the Daily Mail? Do you think they'd print words like cockroaches? Or maybe they'd hire buses and coaches? If they were white, if they were white, if they were white, there'd be no need for drowning, so Daily Mail frownings. We'd build bridges and not walls, and the names they called all would fall. There'd be no need at all. There'd be boats and planes to whisk them away to where they were safe, and people would meet them, wholeheartedly greet them. If they were white, they'd be allowed to work, and no one would smirk and say they're here for our massive fake benefit system. That just isn't true, but it's sticking like glue, because repeated over and over again. Each and every one of them has a name, but we've allowed their names to be numbers, and the numbers are high, and 24,000 people have died. 24,000 mothers have cried. So say it loud for those that didn't survive. If they were white, if they were white.
We've been thinking about the different use of bread in different culture, but also the different meaning and the different tradition of getting together and making bread together as a form of eating itself. So from there we have discussed different idea about how we can transform our personal feeling and emotional attachment to these materials in creating objects or symbol in form of mini sculpture. If I can take a reference from Edward Glissant, we are an archipelagos of people and culture, and I really believe that one of the ways to survive for the human beings is to enhance and celebrate hybridization and of culture. So I think for me personally, a strong voice during the Refugee Week is about also celebrating this possible scenario and make people feel a bit more welcome here.
Most refugees that happen to come in here in Nottingham, they find themselves being isolated. They had nothing to do, no one to talk to, and then we provided this project called Second Chance Academy. The Second Chance project is to make them come out and be cohesive and mix around with other people and get to know who's there and get to know where to get help. We sort of redirect them where they'll get help.
Can I just say on behalf of Nottingham Forest, thank you to Big Mike and everybody. It's great to be here today, seeing you all play, and maybe some of you, I don't know, one or two might get in the Premier League with us.
Yeah, I have taken the names there.
We might need you. We need you.
We need you. Yeah. We had some refugees that. Some have never played football before. Some played last football in their country, and it was a way of asking them to come and engage. It was more than football. It is about coming in and getting together, welcoming all the refugees. Look what has been happening in Ukraine right now. The Ukrainian team was there. So it was a bit of welcoming them to Nottingham and making them feel at home.
The past few years have been hostile in all sorts of ways. We've been coming out of the incredibly difficult and divisive period of the pandemic, but we've also been operating against the backdrop of an incredibly hostile political environment, with the creation of the Rwandan deportation scheme, the furthering of the Nationality and Borders Act, amongst other ways in which our society has been made to seem less welcoming for those who seek legitimate right to sanctuary within the UK. Against this backdrop, it's all the more astonishing that Nottingham Refugee Week has managed to achieve all that it has. Over 30 events across the city, uniting arts, cultural, sporting, charity and refugee support organisations, Nottingham Refugee Week only happens in our city though because we make it happen. It's a festival that belongs to us because our city belongs to us and there's a place for all of us within our city. There are many ways in which you can get involved in making Nottingham Refugee Week happen. This might be through volunteering, through events that you propose to us as organisations or as creative individuals, or it might be through just attending our events. You can find out all the ways in which you can get involved through our website, and we will do all that we can to support you in your involvement. We have incredibly exciting plans for Nottingham Refugee Week next year, and we hope to see you all there, because when we move together as a community in this way, we're able to raise our voices and to say louder than ever before that refugees are welcome in Nottingham.